Morning, everybody. Morning. Oh, I was thinking about doing conscious coffee later in the day, but today is my day to just kind of chill. I'm just chilling with my babes this week. I have not had my youngest two for the last 2 weeks. They've been up at grandma's house. So this is definitely a week where I've just kind of focused in and trying to just really spend a lot of great mommy time with them, which is why we work for ourselves, right? Moms out there work for ourselves. We're entrepreneurs, doing our side hustles and our full-time hustles and all that kind of stuff just because we really want to be able to have that freedom and flexibility. And for me, I know that that's a big reason why I do what I do, is because I don't know how people do this thing called the 9 to 5. I really don't. I have not done a 9 to 5 since I was 19 years old when I worked for Circuit City eons ago. And I remember my now ex-husband dragging me by the feet. He would grab me in bed and he would like pull on my feet because I was a teenager, and he would like be pulling on my feet saying, "You have to go to work now." And it was 7 o'clock in the morning and I was like, ugh. And the commute across town, the whopping 15 minutes to get from our apartment to Circuit City for me to go in and do this hoorah dance over extended service plans, ESP, made me want to gag every single morning that I was scheduled. And I just, oh God, I hated that. I absolutely hated that job. It was just one of those things that I just remember, I go, wow, I made it. Get this, I made it a whopping 6 months working for Circuit City back then. And then I got into a great big spat with my manager because when they hired me, they knew that I was getting married. I knew when my wedding date was and what time I would need to be taking off. And they said, "Oh, it's absolutely no problem, of course." Well, then we got up to a month before the wedding and I went to put in my time off just the way I was supposed to. Hey, morning Addison, morning Chester. Went to put in my time in off for them, and they said no. They said no. They said, "We'll give you your wedding day off, but you can't have a honeymoon. You can't have any additional time off. You can't have time before or after. You must show up for work." And I said, goodbye, Circuit City. And that was that with that. I mean, I never did corporate again. I was just like, 6 months of corporate is enough for this lifetime. I'm never going back to that crap. Like, that shiz just needs to go someplace else, and it's not in my experiential stream for life because I just can't do it. I cannot do it. And I mean, I have had bosses through my 20s. I had bosses. I did property management in California and up in Seattle for 6 years or so after that fact. And I had bosses, but I loved my bosses because they left me alone. They let me be me. They let me run the property and rent. And I was really good at property management. I had great tenants. My rents were always like, I had high on-time rent ratios and everything. No trouble in my complexes. I built community in my complexes. So it was just really, really fun. I mean, I had some of my best memories of my 20s is with my tenants from the apartments that I ran, especially up in Seattle, as I just had like all these amazing tenants, of which I still refer to. I'm friends with them on Facebook. They're like uncles and aunties to my oldest kids who knew them and everything. So it was just beautiful, but it was freedom. It was focused on freedom. And it was really, really, as I moved into this practice thing called coaching, which I didn't know I was going to do in my 20s. In my 20s, I was exploring myself and I was learning this stuff, like energy work. What is energy work? I learned about Reiki and I learned about quantum touch and I did, some certifications with Denise Lynn and around dream interpretations and all this voodoo stuff out there, this crazy stuff of the spiritual realm and trying to figure out what's real and what's not and everything like that. And for any of us who are a little bit more spiritual mindset around our practice, around our work, and I refer to my work, not as work, but to a practice. And it is a practice to me. It's not work. My work today and my work over the course of the last 12 to 15 years has not been work. It has been a practice, and it has been all about this going internal around each, like I run up into these corners in my practice and my life because they're so interwoven. It's where you can't tell where my work and where my home life and where my intimate life really cross over, because they're all one. It is just me. And I think that that's a beautiful, beautiful representation of the way flow really is supposed to happen, and how everything is interwoven when it is in its truth aligned to soul, when you are really in soul. So this morning, that was my morning ramble there as people are coming in. Morning, Tom. Looks like a couple other people. I'm not going to touch my phone. Kind of but this morning I'm talking about, to especially entrepreneurs, but you know what? It's not just entrepreneurs. It can be corporate too, okay? And this is when you really start to hate your business, hate your practice, hate your work, right? And I have had these moments in my time, kind of like with Circuit City, where I just hated it. Absolutely hate it. But that's back there. More recent, moving forward into my coaching practice, I can tell you that I have hated my practice so many times where I have looked at my life and I have been like, this is just no longer in alignment to me. The thought of doing another coaching appointment around this subject makes me want to strangle myself. Makes me want to quit at such a big level. Hey, morning, Snelia. And it's a really weird space to be, because you find yourself wanting to quit. You find yourself hating on your business, on your practice, on your work, right? And this and here's the true message on this, is that yes, I might have addressed this title to entrepreneurs, but this is really going out to anybody out there who might feel like they're hating on something in their life. It can be your marriage. It can be the way you feel about your body. It can be the way you feel about your bank account. It can be your job. It can be your dog, okay? It doesn't much matter. It is, what I'm talking about is this hatred energy, okay? And the lessons of up-leveling to that next level of life that it really brings in, okay? So recently I was going through a whole bunch of, oh my God, my dog just went, squirrel. My dog just went over, and I have vines that grow up and over my fence for my daughter's property, and it grows up and over the fence line between us. And the dog just went over behind the trampoline, pulled a great big vine off of that whole, I don't even know how she did it. The puppy, she did it. And now she's over here, and she looks like she's like Tarzan and Jane and the dog in the yard now. She's wrapped up in this. I should show you guys, but I'm not going to. She looks like she's all wrapped up in this big green vine that she just pulled off the fence. Crazy dog. Very, very crazy dog. She's a puppy. She can't help it. But no, so we all have these moments where we absolutely hate stuff, right? And for me recently, I was going through and I was doing some deep inner work around my practice, around my business. So from here forward, you hear me say practice, it means business, okay? So around my practice. And I've been in the midst over the last 2 years, in the article that I shared yesterday on, that I really don't have a niche, right? I don't have a niche, and it's been driving me bonkers the last few weeks, especially because I keep feeling like I really should have a niche, or so the world keeps telling me. Right? I have people go, well, what's your niche? What's your niche? What's your niche? And I'm like, my niche is soul. My niche, but can that be a niche? Can that really be? Well, after deep journaling work yesterday and writing an article to share with everybody, because that's the way I roll, and here's my awakening, and let me share it with you. I discovered that no, actually, it really can, and I do know this at a soul level that can be your niche. Well, soul work and soul alignment work that is the niche, and what that sometimes does is it brings us into these cycles with our practice of what we're doing in our life. And what I have discovered from moving from spiritual coaching into nutritional coaching, and nutritional coaching into sex and relationship coaching, and sex and relationship coaching now merging over and blending down into abundance and prosperity coaching, also business coaching as a side gig to that prosperity and abundance. That all of it is the same and yet not. And it comes into these points where each time what I have noticed as I'm transitioning into this new phase, and right before things kind of go, boom, right before, what happens is I get this absolute hatred. And I know that hate is a harsh, strong word, but I get this hatred where I divorce this old aspect, this old version. And here's the key to the divorce of the old version. You absolutely have to. When you're making a change and when you are leveling up your life and you're stepping more into soul alignment, you have to. Somebody just messaged me all about their business stuff. Sorry, can't help right this very second. Watch Conscious Coffee, beautiful. Okay. Sorry. Somebody asked me business questions. What you have to do, though, is divorce the old version of you. Like, you have to clear that shiz out. You have to just get rid of it. You cannot any longer accept the new version of who you are. You cannot accept the old version of who you are to meet that new version. Totally messed up there, thinking about what her question was. See, get present, Kendall, right? And it comes out in this hate. So when we're divorcing something, whether it's a person or an old business platform or an old way of living, dieting, being, it is the divorce energy of that we are severing ourselves from that energy, from that way of thinking, from that way of being. And it is one of the most brilliant times, most scary times, most confusing times, most creative times in any segment of our life that we choose to do this divorcing in, okay? But I can tell you that this cycle of hating on your practice and hating on different things to that level, you have to get to that level of just, I am disgusted with this. I am so done taking this and this. This is no longer here, because what that hatred is doing is it's bringing up the fact that your soul is no longer in alignment to this, okay? And that piece right there is really hard for us because we don't like change, right? We're human beings. We don't like change. Change is difficult. Change is awkward. Change is scary. Change freaks us out. It does. It freaks us out because what if by making this change, we fall on our face and we don't survive? So you have to ask yourself, what truly does survive mean to you? Because I know it might feel like you're going to lose your life. And in a way, you do lose your life. You have this little le petite mort happen where it's a little death. And you have to have that little death happen in order to birth out the new version of you. So it's going to feel like death. There's going to be this death energy around it, okay? And that right there is what scares the fuck out of us. Because none of us want to die in any way, right? It's like, no, I don't want to lose myself. Oh, honey, you are not losing yourself. You are finding yourself. You are committing to yourself. You are embracing yourself. You are stepping into you. Because that you're so scared of losing is not you. That's why you have that energy, that negativity towards it. And that negativity is showing the resistance that you have in letting go of that old version. But it's also saying, let go. Let go. So how do you let go, right? That's obviously the next question. How do we let go and trust to fall into this new way of living, of being in whatever subject it is, and just really truly let go? Because it is a trust fall, right? It's like we're on a trapeze and we're swinging, and all of a sudden we're like, okay, we're going to go and we're going to jump to the other trapeze, right? And we've got to just trust that should we not quite make it, that we're not going to actually perish in that moment, physically perish, because that's really the only thing that can completely stop the process, right? Is the physical perish. And maybe that's not a stop of the process. Maybe that's what's supposed to happen, but it's a whole nother topic. It's been my experience, and it's been reignited in me recently, that it really is about putting that focus on that new level you. It is about putting your focus over there and really getting clear as to what you want in that picture, and then coming at everything from that space and not from the space that you're in. You know, so if you are working a corporate job, let's say you're working a corporate job and you want to move out of corporate America and into your own business, whatever that is, you cannot look at building this business of yours the same way you do as going and saying, okay, I go to my 9 to 5 and I report to this and I delegate that and I do this and I do that and all is taken care of, and then at 5 o'clock I wash my hands of it and I don't have to ever worry about it because corporate will take care of all that other stuff. As a small business owner, especially on the front side of things, you have to manage everything, right? So if you're coming at it from that perspective, if you're trying to move from corporate into building your own business, well, guess what? You need to get certain structures in place. You need to look at, well, what is it that I'm trying to do? You need to really dedicate your time to just doing the damn work and doing it consistently and looking at what are my non-negotiables for each and every single day to get my business done. And I'm not going to bed until those things are done, because there's nobody else there in this moment to, I'm not in that position to have this whole team hired yet to get everything done, right? So it's about the commitment to self. It's about the commitment to your process. It's about the commitment to this new leveling up, this new version of you. And what would that new version of you be doing? Well, that new version of you would definitely be putting their heart and soul, their mind, their time, right? Their energy into whatever that is, full force, to completely shift this, to completely get it there. And that is like, that's the doing it part, because on the front end of anything, or in difficult times of anything, that's where you just buckle down and look at, like, where am I not, or how can I better do this. It doesn't necessarily mean work harder, though. It doesn't mean that you have to. It may mean work harder if it's a struggle for you, but it doesn't mean work harder. What it means is to get more into flow. We're getting interrupted. Hey, baby, come on. You can come sit on my lap. I'm doing conscious coffee. You gonna come help me? All right. Interrupted by a 4-year-old. He's very, very mommy focused. Oh, let's get you turned around. Okay, so when we end up really wanting to divorce something now, it's that moving of the passion, the positive passion of that over to the new subject that we are working on, or the old subject that we are wanting to gain more energy around. You know, the new version, that new level of something. And it really is just going, okay, I'm really hating on this, so that means that I've got a lot of resistance here. That means that I am not acting from this new version of self. I'm still acting from the old version of self, which is causing this anger, this resistance, this you just have to this anger, this resistance around the creation work, around the actual doing of what you want to have happen, right? And then going, okay, well, there's no reason to sit here in this anger, in this depression, in this frustration. I have the ability right now to change my thoughts around this and to put my attention on what I want to create, the energy that I want to have, the lifestyle that I want to have, the clients that I want to have, all the love relationship that I want to have, whatever it is. Because much like with divorce, what is it? When we divorce our partner, our spouse, right? When we leave somebody, we leave a relationship, then what are we doing? We're leaving that relationship because it no longer serves us, because it's no longer making self happy, because there's toxic energy there, because stuff has just gotten so bad that we can no longer exist in that scenario because we're truly that unhappy. So or sometimes we get pushed into that, right? Universe comes along and says, no, you're going to do this. You're going to move into that. When we do that, we have two ways of going about. We can sit there and we can just dread it, and we can focus on all the negativity, and we can just really put our heads down in a negative way and just drag our butts through the process and agonize every single step of the way, which creates more suffering for us, which makes that process of divorce, of meeting our new life, so much harder. Or we can go, oh, look, I just got rid of a whole bunch of weight in my life, and I just got rid of all this negativity, and now I don't have this extra influence in my life that is causing this negativity every single day. I'm not waking up next to this negative person. I'm not waking up in this negative scenario where, dude. He is very, very not waking up in this negative scenario where somebody else is trying to dictate, boss is controlling the energy with the way they are handling things or anything, right? So you can look at the positives that you can get from the divorce, keeping your focus on the positives that you're getting from that separation, because everything is a relationship. Okay, we have that relationship with our work, we have the relationship with our money, we have the relationship with other people, and we do lots of these divorces in our time. Are you gonna go jump on the trampoline? Mommy can watch you from here. No? Okay. But what really truly comes down is that when we really want to move that, the focus is always the key. And I swear I say this like every single morning, don't I? Every single day that I'm on Conscious Coffee, I'm preaching focus, 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 alignment and focus, alignment and focus. What does your soul say, and where's your focus at? What does your soul say, and where's your focus at? Well, it's because those are two really, really important things. And to move any mountain in our life, to level up our life in any part, in this case in business, you have to apply your focus to what you want your business to be. You have to go, oh, here's why I am not, number one, recognize what you didn't like about that over there, that old version of your business, of your practice. Maybe it's the corporate America thing. What was the thing that you really don't like, that's really not resonating with your soul in that? Because you don't want to repeat that, right? Or you want to be able to heal that energy around that, to be able to release it. Because the last thing you want is to get down this path of up-leveling your life with your new business and then find out, oh, I haven't let go of this, I haven't let go of that, or I was doing that because of 1, 2, 3, and it wasn't really in soul alignment. I've done that many, many times, and I can tell you it's a really big, it's interesting to find out how much of our lives are truly guided and directed by the influence of those closest to us, or by our fear of not having or not succeeding, and how we will fall prey to doing what we feel is not, I mean, in those moments, we can really great at justifying and hiding from ourselves. Oh, I'm doing this because it's really in alignment. No, that's really in alignment to me. I'm really going to do this. Like, this is what my soul wants. And then you find out 5 years down the road that that's not what all, it was a learning curve. It was there on your path. It's all perfect the way it is. You learned a lot from it, but it was never really truly your cup of tea in that aspect. Maybe it was your cup, but it wasn't your tea. And it was just not quite in full alignment to you. What did you learn from that? That little piece right there, if you find out that you've got your cup, but it's not your tea in your cup, that's a big piece as to why you can have so much frustration, irritation, anger around a piece of your life that you don't even know, well, why am I hating on this? Why am I wanting to divorce this? Well, it might be that you have your cup, but it doesn't have your tea in it. So it's not full alignment. And then that questioning of that is just like, well, what is it? What is the full alignment? What really truly feels good to me right now? Like, what feels good in this moment to me for my soul to take this next step? What is that version of me that I want to be? What does he or she really want in this life? What are they doing? What are they experiencing? What are they, what are they working on? What's the projects? What are they teaching? Who's their clients? What does that business model look like? And it's not about the cash flow. Anybody who goes out there and just focuses in on the cash flow, that dollar amount, the money cannot be your why. If the money is your why, it's not a strong enough why. It's not going to hold you. You'll fall prey to everything else. You'll never get into soul alignment if you're just going after the dollar, because the dollar that's not what the soul is about. The dollar comes from, hold on, baby. The dollars that you make come from being in soul alignment, and you'll make a hell of a lot more when you're in that soul alignment than when you're worried about, oh, I need to make boom, boom, boom. Okay? So get off of, if you're doing your business, whatever it is, and you're feeling frustrated around something, check if you're doing it for the money, or if you're doing it because somebody could just say, would you do this for free? And if you had all the money in the world or bills didn't exist and we didn't need money, would you still do this practice? Would you still do this business? Even though that is, do you really have a calling toward it? Or is it just the money? Stop. So yeah, that back to the hatred though of the business is that when we hate, recognize it as resistance. Recognize it as actually a doorway into, hey, here's where the changes need to happen. Here's where you need to dig for your diamonds, because there is resistance there. So how can you set that resistance free? How can you loosen the chains that you have around different things? And it's about going inside and tapping in and going, okay, what am I resisting? Am I fearing success? Am I fearing that new level of me, that new version of me? And often that is the case, that we're so damn scared of this new version of ourselves that it starts to cause us resistance around everything else. And then we start to pinpoint and we start to hate on whatever that thing is that we're having that relationship with. In this case today, I'm talking about our business. So I've noticed this because I've noticed this because over the last couple of years, I've spent my fair share of time hating on my old practice and also hating on my new practice, and just kind of hating on being a coach sometimes. Like I just go, I don't even maybe I should just go get a job. And I always joke around because I could not survive on being working at the grocery store or something. There's no way I could survive financially on that. But I always joke, I'm like, maybe I should just go become, a bagger or a checker at the grocery store, because at least then I would feel, more happy about something. And that's not true. I wouldn't. I'd be frustrated at the time constraints and somebody bossing me around. I'd sucky employee here. But there are these moments where I have wavered back and forth, where I really hate on my practice. And what I always come back to is, why am I doing this? What is my why? What is my true desire around this? And where am I not fully stepping in to my new level self? Where am I making decisions based on that version of me from 10 years ago, that version of me from 5 years ago, that version of me from 2 years ago, that version of me from a year ago when my whole life went upside down? He wants me to go have breakfast with him. It's a horrible, horrible thing, huh?
Mommy.
What?
I want to get dressed.
Oh, he wants to go get dressed. Hey, morning, Michael. Morning, Rebecca. Morning, Marcus. I'm going to go take Mr. Rowan here off to get dressed here in just a second. Morning, Jason, Amanda. So I guess the ultimate message here is that hatred is your soul saying, time to level up, baby. Time to go and do a better version of you and really get right with you. So whatever you might be hating on, business, your love relationship, your health, your whatever that subject is, but especially around business today, because that's where I'm talking. If there's a piece of it that you're hating on, realize that that piece then just isn't quite in soul alignment. That piece needs to be addressed from a different vantage point, not a lower vantage point, not a vantage point from your past, but a vantage point from your future. And as you step into that future self, you're pulling that future self energy into the here and the now. And when you do that, things just start to magically change for you. So just look at that. Look at that. Like really just try to analyze where it is that you're not feeling completely in alignment and what you can do to get yourself in there, which means to to level your life up by moving forward into the version of you that is in the future. So, okay, I've got to go get him dressed before he, I don't know what, completely knots up my hair. Or something. Maybe he should do a conscious coffee. Maybe we should have Rowan, the 4-year-old, master teacher of what? Of drinking green smoothies and chocolate almond milk. Yeah, and skateboards and scooters. That's about what he masters. That and Greek yogurt. He masters his Greek yogurt eating. So yeah. Okay, so let me see, real quick announcements, and then I'm off to get him dressed. Announcements is, ladies, just a couple days left of to register for Unstoppable. It's My Time to Fly. It's a 12-week program that I have going on where you're going to get one-on-one coaching with me, plus full on every single week. We are moving into different subjects. You're going to find a link in the comments section. Rowan, please stop. You're going to find a link in the comments section on that. You can go and you can see what each week has that we're going to be discussing and working through. You're going to get the 6 one-on-ones with me plus the group coaching. This is an intensive 12 weeks. If you want to level up your life, if you want to really step into that new version of who you are in your life in every single way, we're talking about your love life, we're talking about your business life, we're talking about parenting, we're talking about health, we're talking about spiritual, we're talking about emotional, body image, you name it, ladies. We got it all going on in this 12 weeks, and it is all about leveling up and making this time your time to fly. So, you know, that first half of 2019 for a lot of people has been really rocky, really challenging, very disorganized, chaotic. Just lots of stuff has gone on in the first 6 months of 2019. And I know that a lot of people are feeling pressure because before you know it, it's going to be 2020, right? Well, let's make 2019 truly a year to remember, and not a negative year to remember, not a year where we're going, man, that was chaotic, I wish I had done things different. Let's make it where when you step into 2020, you really feel unstoppable. So check out the link in the comment section, ladies. Just a couple more days. We go live on the 15th with the training, so make sure that you access that right now. Get the big savings that's out there still for a couple more days, and I will catch you tomorrow with another conscious coffee, and hopefully not a 4-year-old on my lap wanting to get dressed. Say hello. Okay. Love you guys. As always, you can follow me at www.kendallwilliams.com. I will catch you tomorrow. Stop existing, start living, and make it your time to fly. Love you guys.